What is kind of the difference between F1 and IndyCar? Because you look at them and they look the same, right?
Similar, yeah.
Similar, yeah. So what's the biggest differences between those two leagues,
Formula One is without a doubt the biggest motor racing series in the world because of the world championship level. I mean, they race in different countries and, all around the world, it's soccer and Formula One. Those are the two largest followed sports. And now in America, there's obviously a Netflix show that has really helped Formula One at a huge level, Drive to Survive on Netflix. It's brought the American market, which is the market that they have been in dire need of getting to, basically right in front of people's faces. So
awesome.
Formula One, they spend $300 million a year, and we spend like $6 to $8 million a year per car in IndyCar. So it's a bit of a budget difference.
Just a bit.
But it's also, each team over there, they have 20 cars, and each team runs 2, and they build them from the ground up every year within a certain amount of regulations, whereas we have 27 full-time cars, and some teams have 4 cars, some teams have 2, some teams have 3, but we essentially all of us have the same chassis, the same car, but there are several small things that can be done that are open for development. Like in the suspension, there are things that you could spend $10 million a year on if you wanted to try to be better than the other people. So our racing is much closer because we work in a little bit tighter of a window with things. Whereas, some of the Formula One teams, they could design a whole new front wing and bring it to the track, and that's that's what they made for their improvement on the weekend. So, but there's also only like 3 cars that can win a Formula One race, whereas like most of us could win an IndyCar race on any given weekend. It's kind of just, it's so close.
So IndyCar, it almost depends more on the driver than it does the car.
Well, I would say nowadays there is still a lot that depends on the car because the biggest and the biggest budget teams still are the most successful teams in IndyCar. They also have very good drivers, but we go from weekend to weekend, and certain teams do better at certain tracks. Certain drivers don't forget how to drive from one weekend to another, but one driver might qualify first one race and then 20th the next race. It's just that close for IndyCar. So there's a lot that is still team related, and when you can develop things at a high level, like the suspension in IndyCar, you can work on that. That can separate you from the rest of them. So that is where things differ a little bit.
Gotcha.
But it is much closer, and there is a lot that depends on the driver in IndyCar.